Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I decided I'd do something a little less formal, completely unscripted. I'm rambling right now. There is no script. But I figured I'd do kind of like a little get to know my taste in books videos by going through my top 5 favorite books and or series. So, yeah. I don't know how this is gonna work. I'm still kind of experimenting, and also I have a new mic, whole new sound system, which equals one $30 mic. So I'm sorry if the sound is a little weird. I'm still trying to iron out all the kinks in that. But without further ado, let's get into it. The first book on my list, and what I would probably consider my favorite book and or series, is the Wingfeather Saga by Andrew Peterson. This book, it just has a real special place in my heart. I think I would say that this series is what inspired me to write, and the way he told his story and the way the story touched me personally just really hit home, and it made me want to tell stories to people. And so yeah, it's amazing. A couple of my favorite things why I love this book is, first of all, it's very personal. There's a character in there who has an arc and a struggle that I really relate to, and that I find it hit on a whole different level. It's Kalmar, if you've read the books. And I really love his growth and what he does in this story. And I also love the balance of gravity and levity. Andrew Peterson, who's the author of this book, as a songwriter, knows how to do both really well. He knows how to lift up and go through joy, and he knows how to go down into sorrow. And it's so clear in his books that he's just so good at this. And the other thing that I personally loved, a little bit of a deeper cut, but I love the way he handled this theme of shame and this theme of brokenness. And those of you who have read the books, you know what I'm talking about. But the way he weaves it in, you don't find a lot of authors or writers writing about shame. And I thought it was unique, it was well done, and was tied into the world building really well. So just all around fantastic read. Love the Wingfeather Saga. I have the original editions here on my shelf, and then I also have the illustrated editions, but those I have loaned out to a friend, save this one. You know who you are. All right, and number 2, most of y'all, if you're a fantasy fan, you know what I'm talking about. J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. This one doesn't have a dust jacket, so it looks kind of boring. But yes, The Hobbit. One of my all-time favorite reads, and I think this is where my love of fantasy comes from. And again, it's another story that touched me really deeply. Like Bilbo, love that guy. And just his journey of being like, his journey from I love comfort and safety to still loving comfort and safety, but being able to appreciate the beautiful wonder of adventure and danger and exploration and holding the two in tension. One of my friends loves to use the two German words, Fernweh and Gemütlichkeit. I don't know how to, I don't speak German. I'm sorry if we have any Germans watching, but Gemütlichkeit, I think. And it's the idea of like the far sickness and homesickness, of like wanting to explore and wanting to be in one place and to be comfortable. And just that tension and that dynamic I thought was really well done. Okay, so I did a little research and got the pronunciations right for one thing. And so it's Fernweh, which is like a far sickness or a distant or a yearning to see things that you haven't seen, almost in the same sense of homesickness. And then Gemütlichkeit, which is like the comfort and coziness almost of being in a place that you know and being comfortable. So that's just a little word nerd moment for y'all and language nerd moment. So hopefully that clears it up. And it really influenced how I write as well, I think, and in a whole lot of ways. So love, love, love The Hobbit. The next one, I don't have. I don't have a physical copy of these books, but that would be the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. It's a planned 10-book epic fantasy series with 4 entries already being produced and sent out to the raving masses. But, first of all, it's not a read for the faint of heart. Each book is like 1,000 pages long and has so much world building and intrigue, and it's a slow burn. You gotta work for it. But his payoffs and his climaxes are so good. Like, chills every single book at just how well he's done this, and the logical and yet the character growth. I have nothing but praise for the Stormlight Archive. I love the massive, expansive world of Roshar. You can't see it in the frame, but right up here, I have a map of Roshar on my wall. I'll do like a bookshelf tour later, and you'll get to see all of my artwork and my books. But love the Stormlight Archive, and it also taught me a lot about the writing mechanics. Wingfeather Saga and The Hobbit taught me to want to write and to love writing, and I guess I would say why to write stories, at least personally for me. But the Stormlight Archive and a lot of Brandon Sanderson's other works, I'm sure you can see, I have my Sander shelf here, all of the Sanderson books. But his books taught me how to write. And so, love the Stormlight Archive. The next one, so I'm willing to bet most of you won't have heard of this one, but my dear mentor, Kevin Chandler, introduced me to this book, and I just fell in love. It's The City of Dreaming Books by Walter Moores. And y'all, this book is a trip. Think if Roald Dahl wrote adults epic fantasy. That's not quite right, but it's kind of got that vibe. The plot of the book is Optimus Yarnspinner is a dragon who writes books, and all of his dragon people write books. And so he goes to this city called Bookholm, which is the publishing industry turned into a fantasy city, maybe? And has all of these quests trying to figure out what he wants to write. And he gets lost in the caves, and there's the fearsome booklings. I won't spoil, but the fearsome booklings. It's so good. It's a fantastic read. And honestly, it's a love letter to books, to reading, to writing, and to just the craft in general. And so if you're not a writer or an avid reader, you'll be like, what? Why? But then all of the writers and readers are like, yes, yes, that's exactly how it feels. So it's a ride. I love it so much. So this is easily one of my favorite books right here. And okay, this last one was a little hard for me to pick. I kind of hummed and hawed about this one, but I would say one of the last of my 5 favorite books or book series would be the first era of Mistborn. And can you see that? Is that good? Okay. But the first era of Mistborn, just because it's fantasy done so well, the magic system, Allomancy is easily one of the greatest magic systems out there. It's so good, and it's simple. It's really easy to wrap your head around, but it's also so nuanced and so complex. What was the Gandalf quote about hobbits? You can learn all their ways in a month, but after 100 years, they can still surprise you. And that's how Allomancy feels. It's so well executed. There's deep character work. And it's Sanderson, y'all. I love Sanderson. He writes great books. And yeah, it's not how to say this? It's not outstanding in a way of whoa, I've never seen this done before. But it does what I love really, really well. And so that's why I think I would give this 5th spot to Mistborn. So there we have it. Those are my 5 favorite books and or series. I hope that helps you know a little bit more about me and what I love and what I do. And hopefully y'all enjoy listening to me ramble. I really don't know why this would be entertaining, but I hope it is anyway. So thank you guys so much for being here, and hopefully soon I'll be able to get up a couple more new videos. We can check out my shelf, maybe do a couple more reviews, but thanks so much. Leave a comment if you love one of these book series too, or if you have one that you really love that you think I should talk about, or a series that deserves to be on my list. Just throw a comment in there, like the video, share it around. I'd love to build up a bigger audience, but thanks for being here, and I'll see you again soon.